Hey there guys, how are you today and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. So today we are going to be reviewing my F1 Fantasy League for the Spanish Grand Prix, looking at the results, looking at all our teams. If you want to join the league, I'll leave the code to join the league in the comments down below. You can join whenever you want, it's perfectly fine, and more people the merrier. So looking at the actual results of the Spanish Grand Prix, as we know it was won by Lewis Hamilton, with Bottas making it another Mercedes 1-2. Verstappen in third, Vettel fourth, Leclerc fifth, so a poor day for Ferrari all round. Gasly sixth, Magnussen seventh, Carlos Sainz eighth in his home race, Kvyat ninth after making some really good overtakes, and Roman Grosjean after a difficult end to the race in P10. We then had Alexander Albon, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, so a poor day for Renault, Raikkonen, Perez, Giovinazzi, Russell, and Kubica. And you can see Kubica's fastest lap was nowhere near as fast as his teammates' fastest lap. And in terms of who retired, we had Lance Stroll and Lando Norris, who collided. So let's go to my fantasy league. So you can see the order, and we are going to start at the bottom, which happens to be me on 469 points. So, and I went for Hamilton, Gasly, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Norris, and McLaren. So McLaren was actually one that I put in instead of Renault. I had Renault before, and Hülkenberg and Ricciardo were letting me down as an overall team, with I don't think they've had yet a double points finish. And McLaren, they did well with Sainz, but of course Lando Norris's crash with Lance Stroll has kind of hurt me this week, and that's a bit of a pain. But ultimately Hamilton got 63 points, you're not going to get much higher than that. Gasly got 34 points as a turbo driver, and Ricciardo and Raikkonen, well, they both finished the race, but were outside the points, and I've talked about Lando Norris already. Moving on, we're going to go to Laurie, who's on 526 points, and got 180 for this week, and he went, and is certainly better than me, he had Hamilton, Perez, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz, if we're going Mercedes as a team. At the moment, it's looking like putting Mercedes as a team is the way forward in this league. And maybe, for myself, I need to think about doing it. But maybe once I do it, that's when Mercedes will start to go wrong. And I like Hamilton, so I'm not sure if I want that. But yeah, Hamilton on 63 points. Perez, okay, didn't score points in the Grand Prix, so maybe not the best driver to have as a turbo driver, but still solid, 16 points. And same for Raikkonen, didn't have a very strong race. Sainz did have a good race, despite the car not being particularly fast. And he was able to score points at his home race, and got 18 points on F1 Fantasy League. Moving on, we're going to go to Thomas on 543 points. It's quite close in the midfield, kinda, in my league. And he went for Ricciardo, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Gasly, and Toro Rosso. So I actually think that's a really strong team overall, having a Mercedes driver, a Ferrari driver, and a Red Bull driver all in the same team, as well as Ricciardo and Raikkonen. And I guess really having Toro Rosso is, of course, the price you're paying. And so we talked about Ricciardo and Raikkonen already today. And in terms of Leclerc and Gasly, the two new guys at the front of the field, I'd say Leclerc was very similar to Vettel in terms of race pace. Sometimes overtook him, and he played the team game almost, and he came home 4th and 5th. While Gasly, again, was way off the pace of his teammate Max Verstappen, and had to settle for what was actually quite a lonely P6. Next up, we're going to go to Robbie, who's got 593 points. And he got 119 for this weekend. He had in his team Leclerc, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Perez, and Alexander Albon with Alfa Romeo as a team. So Alfa Romeo wasn't the best choice for this weekend, with neither Raikkonen or Giovinazzi being in the points. We talked about Leclerc already. Max Verstappen had a really fantastic Grand Prix at the Spanish Grand Prix, coming third, beating the Ferraris. I think you couldn't really hope for much better than that. And maybe it's a shame he couldn't challenge the Mercedes after the safety car, but that's just how it played out. And Raikkonen as a turbo driver there as well, but Raikkonen, Perez, and Albon all failed to score points in the actual Grand Prix. Then we got Fast and Furious 1, that's Kyle on 625 points. and he went for Raikkonen, Grosjean, Daniel Kvyat, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc. So in terms of Grosjean, we know he was having a strong race in the points with his teammate, but then he had some incidents with his teammate, and I think with the McLaren went wide a few times and kind of ran out of tyres and ended up in P10, only scoring 5 points on Fantasy League. Then Daniel Kvyat did quite well, some good overtakes to get in right towards the midfield. He had quite a strong race actually, getting points as well. So overall, a strong day for most of your team apart from Roman Grosjean. Surprise, surprise. Finally, we're going to Seb on 723 points. And he went for Raikkonen, Norris, Albon, Gasly, and Bottas. So I think you've done what you said you were going to do from the comments of my last video, which is taking out Mercedes and putting in Ferrari. And that has cost you, I believe, 28 points. If Mercedes had 70, you had 42. I think that's, my maths is correct. Not like I want to be an accountant or anything. And so Norris minus 11. He had this incident. He was at fault for the incident with Lance Stroll. While Bottas had pole position, but was beaten off the line by his teammate, and that was pretty much the end of his race. Because it wasn't, to be honest, guys, it wasn't the best race in the world, and it wasn't awful, but it could have been a lot better. And it's a shame maybe the two Mercedes couldn't do more wheel-to-wheel racing. So on that note, guys, this is the final table, and I'll just show you the table for actually Spain. And you can see, so Kyle was the best performer this weekend, followed by Laurie, Thomas, myself, Robbie, and Seb. So despite leading our overall table, Seb actually did the worst of us all this weekend, and taking out Mercedes, putting in Ferrari, really cost him. So there you go, guys. That was my fantasy league for the Spanish Grand Prix. Let me know in the comments how you think it's all going, and I'll see you guys next time.